Welcome, everybody, to Rock Confidential with Ryan Scott and me, Judith Morgan. I'm a guest today. It's been a long time. We talk about a lot of random crap today. Let's call it a grab bag episode. You might hear the word Godzilla more than you've ever heard it in your life. Enjoy.
I think we're actually better than good. I think we're great. I'm pretty sure.
My speaking voice annoys me, but that's okay.
Well, the good news is you don't have to listen to it again. Oh, actually,
isn't that how it works for everybody?
A person's
Well, I think everyone's speaking voice is not what they hear in their head. So what you think you sound like and what you actually sound like are very rarely the same thing.
That's a lesson that I've taught many a student.
A lesson in perspective.
Exactly, which actually is a good life lesson for all of us.
So now, lucky for us, we have an extra perspective on the podcast today.
Yes, welcome back
to Judith Morgan.
Hey, what's up, guys?
All right.
Thanks for having me back.
Vocalist, vocal instructor,
yes,
extraordinaire. Actually, the singer on the amazing Ex Aegis album, which is coming up on its first anniversary release very soon.
So. Absolutely. So everybody needs to download it, listen to it often.
If you
as many times as you can, really. Just keep downloading until it stops you. You know what I mean?
Actually just set it up on your streaming platform of choice on just repeat, and then leave, go to work.
Just make a bot and have the bot continually purchase it over and over again.
Well, then you
buy
have to
a computer that's separate from your other computers, specifically for streaming.
Exactly.
And then you have to, on your playlist, include that track that just says like pancakes for like 10 seconds.
Yep.
So that it tricks the algorithm. This is a real thing. So like you put this 5 or 10 second track that just says like pancakes or something, and then it tricks the algorithm into thinking you're on a fresh listen of your whatever it is.
Whoa.
Yeah, to rack up streams on Spotify, right?
So you can't just listen to the album a million times in a row?
Yeah, like you couldn't just put like one of our songs on loop. And have it count every time as a listen, and then get royalties paid for every time it gets played.
Yeah, whatever brings us the most money is what you should be doing.
Of course.
Everyone should just reorganize their lives around that.
Reorganize your lives so that the three of us can make
Right. So we'll be including instructions for the Ex Aegis GoFundMe at the end of the program. Oh, man. I wish I had thought of that.
It's actually a pretty amazing thing about the fact that it's been almost a year since the album was released. I mean, we worked on it for about a year before it came out.
2
And then
years.
actually we started because of the pandemic.
2 years,
it was actually, I mean, really, the seeds of the ideas started way a long time ago. And then, the fact
you guys created the baby of the album way before I was even a part of it.
Oh, Scott, we created a baby.
Gross. But no,
I know babies are super gross. I've got more things to say about that later.
More things.
Just wait until we get to Monsterverse talk.
Hopefully, everybody dug the album and is like just thinking, "Man, I can't believe it either. It's been amazing. This album changed my life. Everything was different after the album came out. I think everyone's thinking that right now.
Obviously, will our lives ever be the same?
No one's. We've changed music entirely. I think everyone understands that. This is groundbreaking. This is like the White Album from the Beatles or something, or Van Halen 1, or
the Beatles
Kiss
White
Alive.
Album was
I can't believe
groundbreaking.
you just attributed the White Album Beatles.
Well, I mean,
Scott, you're going soft, man.
the Beatles.
Ever since we made a baby, you've gone soft.
It's because I'm here.
The Beatles. I don't like the Beatles, but they can't deny their impact on music.
God
my
bless.
God.
God bless.
Yeah,
Let's go back to the first podcast. Scott and I argued about the Beatles for
totally.
10 minutes.
I still stand by. I think they're the most overrated.
It's like
band in
gladiator
history.
battles.
Yeah,
I love it.
There's music.
Whatever, Scott.
There's music starting in 1978 going forward, and nothing happened before that. That's basically what that was. Year zero of music was 1978, and then it just went forward.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so since you brought up babies,
I actually didn't.
That was me.
Okay, well, and I'll try to.
I was dragged into that conversation.
I'll try to steer us into the topic as well.
All right.
And actually, there's a point that I don't.
Is it almost like steering us into traffic, like oncoming traffic?
Yeah, dude, absolutely, man. If I could steer baby King Kong into traffic so I never had to see him in a movie again, I would.
Okay, do you know what he's talking about? The
Godzilla, new movie?
Godzilla X Kong.
Yeah, so one of my long-running beefs...
just talking about it last night. I haven't seen it yet.
Oh, I actually really dig it. It's really good.
Don't see it. No, don't wait. Do you have Netflix or access to Netflix in any way, shape, or form? Watch Godzilla -1 instead.
Apparently, it's only available on Netflix in
Nope.
UK. Oh, was it here in the States
Nope.
too?
Dude, like a day after I was complaining about it, they stealth released it on Netflix.
So are you saying that you're responsible for that? It was mostly
yes.
Brian
Well,
Bowe?
yeah. Well, Toho over in Japan, they're big fans of Ex Aegis.
Yeah, they're constantly just monitoring whatever Ryan says.
Yeah. Well, our song Tokyo was a big hit over there. So
exactly.
they stealth released Godzilla -1 on Netflix.
Just for you.
Yeah, it is so badass. The first 10 minutes of Godzilla -1 are better than the entirety of Godzilla X Kong.
You know what? I actually saw the ad for that last night.
For
What
Godzilla
is the
-1?
-1?
So it's basically a reboot of the original Godzilla, right? So it's set immediately after World War II. And so it's following, these well-developed characters, right, which Godzilla X Kong has none of. These well-developed characters. Basically, the main character, he's a kamikaze pilot, right? But he's still alive, which means he like, when he was
failed.
on his kamikaze run, he decided he didn't want to do it. So he made up an excuse that his plane was having, like, engineering problems or whatever.
That would help. the
And so he flew
situation.
to a service island, right, to get repairs. I'm using quotation marks, air quotes, repairs to his Zero, his Mitsubishi Zero fighter jet.
Fair enough.
Right. Those of you driving Mitsubishis out there.
I mean, let's talk about Subaru after this.
Yeah. Right. Man.
Nazis.
Is there some Subaru news or something?
Nazi. They
Wait,
they
what?
built Nazi things.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's
okay.
how they started.
Well, I mean,
well, so did IBM.
and so did Volkswagen too, for that matter. you know.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
Volkswagen. Yeah. As a Volkswagen driver,
If you want to
know.
be just like, if you want to avoid all that, you have to buy American made. Don't.
Yeah, well, and then you end up driving like a Dodge or something.
Or a freaking Ford. Ugh.
Yeah, I'm the Rebels. I'm driving Ford.
Sorry, I gotta put my flag on.
I'm
the
sorry, I
back.
can't see through my bullet corn trucks.
You know what? So, do you know what Ford did after they discovered the problem with their vehicles?
I guess hid the problem.
I was gonna say bury it.
They drew an oval around it.
Oh,
Oh,
the
sorry.
beloved
Yeah.
Back to
American
the
company.
-1. I'm
Yeah.
sorry, I got distracted.
My buddy used to have a Mitsubishi back, like I think, like high school, right out of high school days, and so we drew like a T on the end of the name.
Mitsubishi.
Aw.
That's
That's
so
a
funny.
good
Classic.
one. Okay, so the fighter pilot guy, right? So he lands on an island where they've got mechanics there to service these planes, right? And this is like late. This is very late in the war.
Yeah.
It's probably just like right it might even be in between the two bombs.
Got
Okay.
it.
Right, like the first bomb might have dropped, but the second one hasn't dropped yet, right?
Yeah.
So like they know it's a lost cause. So he shows up on the island, right? And all the technicians there, I don't want to spoil too much of the movie. All the technicians there, the main technician is like, hey, I noticed there's really nothing wrong with your plane, but I want to let you know, like, I'm on your side. It's a lost cause. It's cool. Of course, the guy feels like a cat. Anyway, so like later that evening, a very young Godzilla shows up and fucking murders everybody. It's great.
Whoa.
That's how he's learning to murder.
Including
Yeah.
the kamikaze guy?
Well, except for Kamikaze guy and the head engineer. Like
That's actually
there's-
his name in the movie is Kamikaze Guy. They never
Yeah.
actually
Yes,
give a name.
so
you know.
Kamikaze guy, right?
Yeah.
So and there's other details I'm leaving
keep
out
track, you know.
that it's where this is only the first 10 minutes of the movie.
Okay, not a spoiler, yeah.
Yeah, like so it starts with Godzilla fucking shit up,
Love it.
and he murders people with his mouth.
And he's a baby?
It's great.
baby
Yeah, he's
Godzilla.
baby Godzilla.
Aw.
He's smaller. Well, he's smaller Godzilla. So like if like you're full-grown Tyrannosaurus Rex, that would be like baby Godzilla. It's not like cute.
Oh.
It's not like stupid baby Kong where it's cute and fucking dumb and this is like he's there and he's like
He's so scary.
no, like it was kind of poetic because as I was watching Godzilla -1, Yngwie J. Malmsteen, who's now my cat, he's the king of the coffee table.
Okay.
Right? Godzilla's king of the monsters. Yngwie J. Malmsteen is king of the coffee table. So he was up on the coffee table, like knocking shit over. Like he was like
Inspired. I'm inspired.
yeah, he was inspired. It was great. So I've got Godzilla on the big screen TV, like fucking up Tokyo, and then I've got Malmsteen over here, like rampaging through my coffee table, like knocking shit on the floor.
Must have been
like,
quite the moment, actually.
yeah, like that roll of paper towels is like a sky.
Imitates life.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that roll of paper towels is like a skyscraper. He's all
Well, that just goes to show if he were to ever be irradiated in some way, he would be doing that. Sacramento would be gone.
Oh, that'd be so cool.
House cats?
How do I
Yeah.
sign up for that?
Yeah, exactly. Oh no, I wouldn't want the whole Sacramento. We need people to buy a record. We talk
Yeah,
about.
needs-
but my
I
cat would
teach
be
people
fucking
around
shit up.
here.
No, I, have to
I mean,
say,
that's gonna be a great way. You don't get to choose
I'll
how you're
give
going to
you a
go. I
counterpoint,
mean,
though,
if it were my cat becoming a giant like kaiju and fucking everything up, I'd be like, good kitty, you know.
I don't know that that's quite the
I'd be all
utopia
right
that
with
you're painting it to be.
Yeah, my last words would be good kitty.
Yes.
And that's a life well lived, I think.
So here's the thing about the monsters,
So-
too. I don't think you have to pick
oh,
your choose. I think that, things exist in parallel to each other. So you don't have to decide, hey, Godzilla -1, that's awesome. And I think if you dig Godzilla X Kong, that's also awesome. If that's what you're into, that's cool.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
man.
It's almost like people who want to listen
No.
to, jazz, want to listen to rock. It's whatever you're into, man. You know what I mean? It's,
I
Okay.
mean, yeah, that's the nicer way to be about it for sure.
Okay, so if you keep giving the movie studios money for infantilizing previously
See, I would take the issue with that. 'Cause
previously
Marvel-
non-infantilized
Cough,
entertainment.
I don't think that
Cough,
making
cough.
something that is for everybody is infantilizing. I think
It's
that-
not for everybody. I'm part of everybody. It's not for
But
me.
no, but it's got to be for everybody. It's not.
But I'm not. But it's
Well,
not
my
because
problem
I'm
is that
part of
these
everybody.
movies aren't
That's
ever
no, but
written
kids are
well.
also part of everybody. And you have to sort of recognize.
The kids aren't as important.
It's almost like saying, like, I should be able to do
Starting in
crack at a park.
1995, kids were the most important because they realized how much money they could make off of them.
And that's and so this is where it'll parlay into music too, because I just heard someone else recently talk about how the problem with music is that it's all moneyballed.
You mean like Billy Bean from the A's, the general manager?
yeah, like that guy.
Yeah, just like statistical and like so. I mean, and I'm not a Taylor Swift hater, but like Taylor Swift's music is just moneyball pop music.
Oh, yeah.
They just like analyze metrics of like here's what works. I mean it's been happening for a long time.
Yeah,
but, and at least Taylor Swift doesn't have Baby Kong on stage.
Well,
with
she
her.
does write her own stuff for
She
the most
does.
part, and she's a great performer.
She kind
and-
of created the metric. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like, she's been around since I was in middle school,
Yeah.
writing hits after hits. She's transferred from one genre to another. Like, because of Taylor Swift, that is why our music industry has changed.
Well,
I
that's why
kinda
there's
feel that
still
way.
a music industry. Period. They need people. There's not enough people who pay attention to music if it wasn't for people like Taylor Swift and
Yeah.
Beyonce.
Yeah, and
You know
again,
what I mean?
I'm
It's-
not a Taylor Swift or Beyonce hater.
I mean, that's the
J-Lo's
reason
a
that
different
Have you
thing,
guys?
but
That's the
Okay.
reason that there's still like a music industry per se is that kind of thing. And really, honestly,
Yeah.
they need her more than she needs them.
Oh, yeah.
You know
Well,
what I
and
mean?
she
It's-
proved that.
Yeah.
Which I
she
love.
sued Sony and then for the rights to her songs and lost, and then she's like, all right, I'll just re-record all of them.
Yeah.
Eat it."
Yeah.
yeah,
Yep.
Def Leppard did that with
Amazing.
Hysteria. Now, Hysteria is inferior, the one they
Yeah,
recorded.
yeah.
The one that Mutt Lang.
No,
produced.
that actually Journey did the same
Taylor's-
thing.
All of Taylor's versions ended up being better. That's
Yeah.
the cool version part of it.
Well, I mean, I
it's
respect
cool to
Taylor
hear her
Swift
grow,
very
yeah.
much. I think she's awesome.
I don't listen to
I got
her,
nothing bad to say about
But
Taylor
I
Swift.
No, not
like
at all.
her
Yeah.
energy. However, I also don't listen to Beyonce, but I did listen to her new album. There's so many covers on that album. Did you guys know?
No, it's talking about the country album.
There's like country, but also she covered Blackbird by the Beatles. So there's a bunch of
Oh,
things on there
cool.
that has been covered, and she integrated all these artists that aren't very well known. A lot of people of color, a lot of LGBTQ.
Oh, that's cool. That's really
it's
cool.
Just
That's great.
She used her power
Yeah.
for good. It's great.
Yeah, because I feel like I still need to forgive Beyonce for single ladies.
You mean like for women who are single?
What happened
Yeah.
to you?
Well, okay. If
Everyone should be married. Like, that's
no,
so not
agreed.
on brand for you.
Yeah, so Misty and I have been
Actually, it's
together.
100% on brand for you. I understand.
Yeah,
why
so
you're
Misty and I
angry
have been together for 16 years happily, and I've never wasted 3 months of income on a fucking mineral.
now. Okay, but to everyone to each their own as far as how much money they want their ring to cost. I straight up told my boyfriend that if he spent more than $180 on an engagement ring, I would say no.
So you're what's known as a good person, right? But I mean, there's a whole culture that, like, I mean, think
I get
about
it.
all the young men who are like, think of all the young women who are like, yeah, Beyonce says better put a ring on it, and you
Yeah.
know she means an expensive fucking ring.
Yeah, well, that's how you
Right.
show your value as a human being is you spend a
I mean-
ungodly
Right?
amount
Yeah.
of money. I
Fuck that.
Again,
Yeah.
everybody's different. Some people do feel that way. My friend, she waited a long, long time. She's been with her boyfriend for 11 years, and he finally proposed. And the reason why it took so long is because he knew she wanted an expensive ring.
Yeah.
Oof.
Which is
And
a
she got
red
it.
flag. You know, the whole thing like going, oh my God, she wants me to spend 3 months of my income on
Oof.
this. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
I mean,
like,
he has money. He's
Yeah.
an econ guy.
Well, I mean, that's part of why I hate weddings, because they're
Oh,
just
I
it's
hate
just
weddings.
yeah, it's just peacocking wealth. That's all it is.
I want to
I
have,
don't know,
I wanna have
man.
a potluck wedding where everyone has to bring something like a casserole or a pie.
Okay, well, that's a wedding I would attend, Judith.
See, I'm just saying, I'm always gonna be.
And weddings are all
outlet.
different things to different people. And this is speaking as a guy who's recently divorced. You know what I
Well,
mean?
most of them are horrible.
No, I mean, my wedding was pretty cool, man. We got married on a beach in Sunset in Maui. It was awesome.
Wow.
You know what I
Man,
mean? It was really
only
cool. There was
reason
only like 10 people there. It was just the people we really
That's
cared
the
about.
dream.
The only reason
what I
I'm
mean?
willing to accept that there was anything cool about it, Scott, is that you were there.
Oh, you're very kind.
Aw.
Yeah, but no,
I might have hated all the rest of it. but-
well, at the end of the day, it turns out it was a journey worth taking, even if it didn't end well.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
you
It's,
gotta
you
live and you learn,
Yeah.
and you have cool kids now.
yeah, I do exactly.
So this brings us to, let me talk about Godzilla a little bit more. Because
He's not got enough airtime. Godzilla
Well, and
needs.
again, I think this relates to music because of the money balling of music, and it's the commoditization of art.
yeah, I
right?
mean that's been going on for.
I mean,
4
how many
years,
Godzilla
but-
movies do we need?
More.
So
More.
this is a fun. Okay, so last.
I mean, I don't know what's going to happen in the movie. I mean, anything could happen.
so
Not go for another building.
so
Who knows?
So last week I mentioned RoboCop
Okay.
and RoboDoc, but I don't think I made it to my ultimate point. Okay, and
his ultimate plan did not come to fruition.
I really think that film as an art form parallels music as an art form.
Oh, for sure. I love film.
We're all storytellers.
Mm-hmm. I think it's cute that we still want to sit and watch people tell stories and sit and want to listen to people play music.
Totally.
It's very, very, very human.
Absolutely.
Well, you got to have something when you're scrolling Instagram and TikTok.
Well, I mean,
We don't have those things, but we still have stories. And I
right.
like that.
Stories are important because it relieves death anxiety.
It relieves
You know what else does that?
anxiety of
Godzilla.
living.
Godzilla relieves anxiety because he kills you.
You know what would be great? I think the reason why we like these big disaster movies is because it's like, at least we don't have that.
Well, yeah, it helps that in horror movies.
Look at
help-
those sons of bitches dying. Ha ha. That's not me.
I'm not dying. I just have a really, really expensive rent.
So, Judith, you just helped me make my point. So, as a kid who grew up watching kick-ass R-rated movies, right? So, like in RoboDoc, all the people that made... So, RoboCop... No, I mean, this is a serious point I'm
I
going to
love
make.
this RoboDoc. That's funny.
So, yeah, they're talking to the cast and crew, and they talk about how, so I was born in 78, so I'm 9 years old when
Oh my God, you were
RoboCop-
born the same year music was born.
Yeah, that's right.
That's amazing.
Well, I mean, I'm
Yeah.
part of that, right?
Yeah.
There was no music before me.
Yeah, that's exactly the birth
Before
into the
me
world.
personally.
Yep.
Yeah. So,
Yep.
like Eddie Van Halen rocked so hard, I just
You
arrived.
were
What
born.
was the year that music died?
93.
Whenever
Yeah.
whenever Pearl Jam and Nirvana
Yeah,
showed up.
93-ish,
Oh.
I think so.
Well, that's when music got cancer.
I mean,
Yeah.
other people said it was a different day. But
It might be like he got shot by the poisoned arrow.
They went down and took their Chevy to the levee.
yeah,
Yes.
that guy. The Buddy Holly plane crash with
Who
the
cares?
other two guys.
That all
on the
happened
plane.
in prehistoric times.
but
No one
that's
can
what
even
I'm
really
saying.
confirm that it happened.
Buddy
So the
Holly,
music
Buddy Holly
died.
was cool. He doesn't get name checked enough for
Music
being a
died,
pioneer.
and then it was reborn in '78. That's what I'm gathering.
Okay, I'll go with that. So
I'm just going to say that's an unsubstantiated claim. There's no evidence that music existed before 1978.
No evidence.
Yeah.
All right, your point. Sorry, Ryan.
That's okay. So, so when I was 9 years old, I mean, yeah, when I was younger than that, I dug He-Man, and I remember watching He-Man, like not being able to muster the necessary suspension of disbelief when they had war all the time, but no one ever died.
Yeah.
Oh,
Right? No He-Man character ever fucking died, and so
that's why I don't like Batman.
Even Orko.
Right.
Orko.
Totally.
No one.
Stupid.
He had it coming though, right? I mean.
I wish. And there's the new Kevin Smith one, but anyway, so the cast and crew, they're talking about how, and now remember when the original cut of RoboCop was so violent. Has everyone here seen the original RoboCop?
Yeah.
The original cut was so violent they gave it an X rating.
Wow.
Ooh.
And RoboCop, Paul Verhoeven made it as it works because it's a satire and it's also a retelling of the resurrection story from the New Testament.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Whoa, okay.
I never really got that connection.
Okay, cool. So you know what? So there's two layers right there in a movie like
So
RoboCop.
Jesus was an ex-cop out for revenge? I didn't know that.
Well, RoboCop died. He rose from the grave, and at the end he walks on water before he
Wow.
Kills the giant robot guy.
I don't know
yeah.
how
Fuck yeah.
Jesus would feel about this if he's
If he was-
listening,
if he wasn't
watching,
Yeah.
paying
So-
attention.
Yeah.
Since we're on the podcast, I'm going to, at this moment, censor myself. I so want to respond full-throated to that, but I can't because,
Whatever.
I respect all of our listeners, and some of them are our students, so they all know me well enough.
Yep, they know how you feel.
So as a kid, as a 9-year-old, right, maybe 10, like fooling grandma into renting whatever we wanted because she
course.
didn't understand what the rating system was.
Yeah.
Which was great.
X meant excellent for children.
Yeah.
X-
So watching RoboCop was a rite of passage as a child,
Okay.
right?
Like that's how you paid your rent when you came home? Is that what it was?
Right, because my parents started charging rent when I was 5.
God damn it. Where's
Yeah.
your copy of RoboCop? That's how you get in here.
They just had jars full of like half sucked on lifesavers because that was the only currency I had available. Anyway,
Those were good times.
so it was a rite of and then watching all those horror movies and stuff. It was a rite of passage, and it also taught people my age how to process fear.
Okay.
Right.
Believe that.
So is it if we're ever frustrated about like a younger coddled generation, it's because they're just constantly being fed infantilized crap in media that includes Godzilla X Kong. Now there's another phenomenon related to RoboCop.
Wow, there's phenomenon related?
So,
Oh my God.
so if you watch RoboCop 1, it originally almost got an X rating. It did and had to get edited, right?
Yeah.
Like just because of the brutality of the violence, which is necessary to raise the stakes of the plot so that the events have meaning, right?
Okay, fair enough.
Now, when you get to RoboCop 3, it's rated PG-13. He's flying around on a jetpack. He has accessories, and it's all just to sell fucking
That's
action
money,
figures.
though. This is for
I don't
money.
even remember that movie. Yeah,
This
that's-
is. There are some movies now, though. Like horror movies are still. Like I just watched one the other day that was advertised on Disney Plus because Disney Plus is it's combined with Hulu now.
Oh, is it Tarot?
No, it was freaking Omen.
Oh, the
Begins.
first Omen.
Oh, yeah.
Holy
Holy shit,
the
is it good?
violence,
Yeah.
and I thought I was desensitized. I have this one scene in my brain.
Do they recreate the decapitation scene with the window panes?
No. This is all before what's his face is born. This is how
Oh,
he's
got it. It's
created.
a prequel. Nice.
This is how. What's his name? Why
No,
can't I-
Damien.
Damien. Thank you.
Yeah.
Oh,
this is
man.
how the mother of Damien is
Good
created,
save. I was
basically.
about to mention a politician's name. Thanks, you guys.
Works, but no, it was. I don't know. I keep thinking about it, and what me and Alex were saying when we were like, people are really desensitized now.
Huh.
Because seeing that still sticks with me. It was a
Rad.
week ago, and I'm like, I was nauseous.
You
And
just
I
sold me
haven't
on the movie.
I haven't felt that way in a long time.
Rad.
This is-
Isn't that fun?
This is actually so funny because this is one of the things where Ryan and I could not be more diametrically opposed in the world.
Yeah.
I literally have zero interest in seeing any horror movie. You know what
Bruh.
I mean? I want to feel better when I walk out of a
I do
movie,
too.
Not worse. You know what I mean? That's
When I'm
so,
in a bad place, though, all I want to do is watch either true crime documentaries or horror movies because it makes me feel better. Because it's like my life is here, but now it feels like it's all the way up here.
Right.
In
Pro-
comparison-
so
processing-
much better now. Yeah.
It's about facing and
Yeah.
processing.
Okay, I'm not
fear.
going to get too
Yeah.
personal on the podcast, but in my personal life, I had plenty of fear to process. I wanted away from fear when I was watching movies. You know what I mean? So it was not a situation where I was like, "Yeah, I really want to be afraid." I could wake up and roll out of bed and see my brother and be afraid.
I-
You know what
and I
mean? When was
respect
growing
that.
up, you
I
know what
also
mean? So,
relate
yeah.
to that, but I think
Yeah.
because of that upbringing is also, you know how they say listening to sad songs makes you feel better because it's someone who understands you, there's an understanding there. For me, it truly was about comparing it to my own life, where it's like at least I didn't get kidnapped and murdered.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At least that
got
didn't
that going
happen.
for me.
Or at least I'm not being haunted by a demon. That's
Totally.
pretty cool.
Or getting eaten by Gojira.
Yeah.
Right?
Exactly.
So now that feeling that you were describing, Judith, the next section of Godzilla -1.
Wow, we're gonna do a blow by blow -1.
No, I'm just gonna take it this
Point
far.
by
because-
point by point.
I'm just going to take it this far,
Okay.
just to draw the contrast between Godzilla -1 and Godzilla X Kong. Well, so I feel
Well,
like
Godzilla's a hero in a Godzilla X Kong. He's not the villain. You know what I mean?
he's not supposed to be the hero.
Complicated.
That depends
Right.
on which version of Godzilla you're buying
There's
into.
only one.
That's not true. This is
There's
Highlander,
only
man.
one. Yeah, no, there can only be one, and it's the one that fucks up Tokyo.
Well, I mean, King Kong's just not big enough. Honestly, they don't. He doesn't
Right.
seem like he's big enough to
Yeah.
fight a big ass lizard.
Right. Agreed. No, I mean, I
Imagine, like,
think
if you ever been around a Komodo dragon,
They're so scary.
can you
They
imagine
can
like
hurt
a
you, and they're like 1/18 of
like
your
a
body.
50-story
Yeah.
version of that? I mean, my God, you know
No.
what I mean? That's,
oh,
you
and their
know.
mouths
I had a
like
friend who
Gila
had to have
monsters, yeah.
surgery on her hand because her Komodo dragon that she had had for 5 years all of a sudden like went into heat, and he like just started to attack everything.
Wow.
And she like has crazy nerve and tendon damage on her hand
That's
because he just
awful.
bit her once.
Yeah.
It's
And
all
he
the
wouldn't let
bacteria
go.
in their mouths.
And he wouldn't
too.
let go.
Yeah.
And so just a bunch of crap got damaged. And she had him for 5 years. And I'm like, that's why you don't have reptiles
Yeah.
as pets.
Yeah, the reptiles aren't good for like the tummy
Tokyo
rubs
learned
on
that
the
lesson
couch.
too late.
I'm not a
Well,
yeah,
yeah.
the scales alone.
The scales.
My
So-
favorite, my favorite of all of them is Lydian. I have to say.
Really? Yeah,
Of all the
Lydian's good.
scales,
You know,
yeah.
Dorian's like so useful.
That's true, especially when you have like the picture in the attic that like, makes sure you don't age. That's,
Yes,
that's one, you know?
right. The picture of B flat Dorian.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, right.
Great.
Well, you know, the first King Diamond album, Fatal Portrait, that's pretty much the plot.
Yeah, exactly.
So I recommend everyone go listen to that now.
Of course, just for the music, screwed like anything
Didn't
else.
After
they
Ex
just
Aegis.
come around to Sacramento?
They did not, because I would have been there.
That's
I feel
true.
like
yeah.
I just... Oh, no, it was King's Right. The other one, Queen's Right.
Queensryche, yeah.
They were just at Ace?
I think they just came back.
Yeah.
Well, so Scott and I saw them, what, 6-7 months ago?
Yeah, not
at
too
AC?
long ago. Yeah, with Marty Friedman.
But they
Oh
did
my
just
God.
come back around. Now, that might have been like Jeff Tate's version. There's two versions of Queensryche that are out touring, but so I don't know. But yeah.
Well,
Well, yeah,
I
that's-
thought of you guys either way.
Oh well, Queensryche was the working title of Rising.
I
it's-
know.
it's the-
because
yeah,
of,
that's
because
Yeah,
of the homage.
Exactly. That did it for us, actually.
So Godzilla -1 so that feeling, Judith, that you described over like that super gory or disturbing scene, right? I had that very same feeling in Godzilla -1, right?
I'm all right,
So
I don't
after
need
our kamikaze pilot gets back to mainland Japan, everything's all bombed out and there's just like refugees everywhere.
Oh.
And while he's like walking through the rubble trying to like get back home, another refugee just runs by and puts in his arms
A child.
a human baby.
Yeah.
And from that point on, our protagonist is fucked. It was fucking horrible. I was like, oh my God, he's responsible for a human child? That's like the worst fucking nightmare. That's my worst nightmare come to life.
Oh, I'm so
I
sorry.
am
Ryan.
And I was
in
just
charge of a
disturbed.
child.
I had to pause. I had to kind of collect myself.
It's actually not so bad. I've actually raised one of those to adulthood.
To adulthood already?
Yeah, my daughter's 19.
Wow,
yeah.
you
yeah.
did it.
Yeah, exactly.
You did a great job.
Yeah. So
Dude,
yeah, I mean,
so-
I've done that. I know that feeling. I did it
I'm
twice.
glad, dude, I'm glad you survived. And I'm glad you're here to tell the tale.
Hey, it was
You
quite the
survived.
tale for sure. Absolutely.
Do
Cool.
they still talk to you? That's
Of
what
course.
matters.
You kidding me? Absolutely. I'm the
I
coolest
mean,
dude ever.
I don't
Yeah,
talk
you
to
are.
either of my parents.
Oh,
So.
so sorry, Jude. That sucks. No, the goal is to be the kind of person that your kids would want to be around.
Well,
You know
that's
what
the
I mean?
thing. I feel like parents, that's the goal, right? Is if your kids grow up and they still talk to you, you succeeded.
Well, the goal is to keep the daughter off the pole and to make sure that your
Unless
son...
she wants
and
to.
make sure your
Right,
son
unless she,
doesn't...
unless she
Make
Make
wants
sure your
to.
son doesn't
Yeah,
drive an
totally.
F-250 pounding Red Bulls and saying bro all the time. That's what you're hoping for. You know what
The
I mean?
second one,
Yes.
yeah, I agree.
The second
with that.
one, definitely.
Bro!
But do you know how much
Bruh.
money girls on the pole make?
There's
so
nothing,
much
there's
more
nothing
than
wrong
me.
with the
I
poll.
aspire to more than that for my kids. That's all I can
There's-
say. You know, it's
Her body will stay fit. She'll be healthy forever.
Retire early if she doesn't fuck off all her money and pick up a habit.
Jude's like, this is actually a great life.
I'm
No,
just
I'm
saying,
with Jude
I'm
on
all
this
about
one.
positivity.
Yes, well, and empowerment, right?
Yeah.
I mean, if you're taking money from a bunch of dopey guys who are willing, without
I'm going to dare to dream
while
that-
maintaining your
I mean-
personal
I'm going to dare to
boundaries,
dream that my
then-
girl can become more than
She
that.
can.
Yeah.
Hell, for sure.
all
I mean,
I
I
can say.
chose not to be a stripper, but I don't make as much money as strippers do. So there's always that little thing in the
That's
back
true.
of my mind.
Well, I was actually going to
You
start
know
a
what,
hedge fund,
Judith?
and I did
Me
the same
too.
thing, you know?
Hey, man, there's a market.
Chris Farley showed us the way.
All right, so you
Anyway.
said there's J-Lo news that
Oh
we had to
my
revisit.
Oh
Okay,
God!
tell me
So
what you
Visit the
guys
J-Lo
talked about
news.
so that I can jump in.
Well, we talked about her
with my
$20
info.
million album on the podcast just a few weeks ago.
Did you talk about her movie?
She has a movie.
yeah,
Oh, guys,
you know what?
guys,
That
guys,
fuck,
no,
right?
this is everything.
Wait,
Okay,
is it like a documentary or
so
is
let's
it
go
like
back.
a...
Let's
Yeah.
go back.
Yeah.
Her
Yep.
and Ben Affleck, right? We're going back in time. They were married a long time ago,
Yep.
got divorced.
And South Park totally ripped on him with
Love it.
Cartman in the hand.
He
Jennifer
married
Lopez.
the right Jennifer and then got divorced because
Yep.
of his alcoholism. Got back together with J-Lo. Okay, so now J-Lo is like, I'm going to make a movie about this. It's going to be like a fantastical version of our story. So it's not a documentary. It's a
It's
movie
a scripted movie.
with like music and dancing and magical hummingbird
Oh, no.
that symbolizes Ben Affleck and their love story.
What, really?
Yes, I'm not even kidding. This is real. It's out.
Wait a minute, is it going
And
to tell us who she is
Then she makes a documentary. She's
This is
making
me
a
now.
documentary of the process of her making the movie. Also,
Wow, there's some
And so-
narcissistic tendencies going on there. Oh my god.
and it's so funny because most of the clips I've seen are people just being like, "No, I can't do the movie. No, I can't do the movie. No,"
Yeah.
because the script is bad. She wrote it herself.
Thanks for listening to Rock Guitar Confidential with Scott, Ryan, and Judith. Please make sure to rate, review, and subscribe. Now back to the show. Of course
Oh,
it is.
God.
But the other thing about Ben is that he's a really private person. He doesn't want to be in the spotlight. He doesn't want all of this.
Right, and
so
nobody
now-
can know his alter ego
Now,
is Batman.
guess what?
That's true.
They're getting divorced.
Yeah.
And what he said, his statement is, I wish I could get divorced on the basis of insanity because these last 2 years don't feel real.
Well, okay, nobody made him get married again.
Yeah, why did he re-up?
J-Lo, I think she's insane.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yes.
She's kind of scary.
So here's what I want to know is, you know,
I just think it's funny that they broke up right after she made this movie about their epic love story.
yeah. So I
Well,
think
irony's alive and well. It's for sure.
I think today the theme of today's podcast is frustration over bad art,
Oh,
and how so much money gets poured into
So
bad
much
art.
Well, we've talked about this before. Like, you get the culture you pay for. You know, if you put your money in certain things, you're going to get that back. If you don't, it's
That's why you should
That's
buy
why-
Godzilla -1
You know
and
what's-
not Godzilla X
You know
Kong.
what's, I think you could I like Godzilla X Kong. I'm not gonna try to.
I'm not even
But that being said, like, I actually saw something that made me so sad the other day, and this is weird. I guess there's like all these like water mains breaking in Atlanta, and like there's streets flooded.
Is it Godzilla?
Well, no, that'd be an awesome tie-in.
Oh.
I would love, every part of me would love to say yes. But
Oh, that'd be great.
But I saw there during the report, they showed like the reporters out, talking to people whose neighborhoods are ruined and stuff. And then I noticed that one of the things they did is that people were completely like terrified and horrified that a Megan Thee Stallion arena show got canceled. And I thought to myself,
Yeah.
Megan Thee Stallion's playing at arenas? There's an arena full of people who want to see
Yeah.
Megan Thee Stallion and are
Yeah.
sad that they can't see her. What the hell? I just like I couldn't
Maybe
get my
it's
head
like-
around that idea. It's like,
Yeah.
have you not heard this freaking abortion that is her music? I don't understand.
Hey, you're going pretty hard on abortion there.
Sorry, I didn't mean to disrespect
I am a
anybody,
fan,
but,
okay?
yeah. But it's
What-
like
what
I
did
just,
abortion ever
the
do to
fact
you?
that there's
What did it
a
ever do to
20,000
you?
seat arena that's packed to see people who can't
I
wait
don't
to see
get it.
Megan Thee Stallion.
No, it's like the Post Malone effect.
I
Like,
don't
maybe-
understand that at all.
Maybe they just like her butt.
I guess
They
but
probably do. Same with Doja Cat. Doja Cat's selling out.
I'm not even sure
stadiums.
what that is. What's a Doja Cat?
What is a Doja Cat?
Is that something they sell at
I couldn't
IKEA?
even tell you what one of her songs is, but I know that she's famous.
Is she like a
That's all I
singer?
know.
Is she a rapper?
Singer, rapper.
Is it like
Kind of like Megan Thee Stallion.
Is it like
But her
Doge,
bigger
like
butt.
I
pop?
thought she was just a rapper.
She also has now kind of like, what's the word? Plastic surgery to her face a little bit, and so she looks more like an actual cat.
Because that's worked out well for celebrities in the past.
Yes.
Yeah.
There's never
No,
been an
there's-
instance where that didn't
I don't
work
know.
out.
Wildenstein, Jocelyn Wildenstein. Everybody on the podcast, I want you to Google Jocelyn Wildenstein.
I like that you very quickly know someone who had bad plastic surgery off the top of your
Dude,
head.
she was known as, well,
amazing.
because I know stuff.
Oh, okay.
See, that's why
I just paid no attention to that kind
that's
of
why
thing. It's like-
everyone should respect my opinions and take my advice at all times.
I have.
So, so they called her the cat lady. She was like a New York
I
socialite.
know exactly who you're talking
Yeah,
about.
her name was Jocelyn Wildenstein.
And Doja Cat is starting to look a little bit like her.
All right.
Yeah.
Is she just like enthusiastic about cats? Is that where the name
I
comes from? Or?
haven't truly. That's the bottom of the well of my information.
Okay, yeah, more than me.
Okay. Well,
I have
see,
something that you
I'm
guys
blissfully
probably,
unaware of that, you
I
know?
have. This is something that's not probably past your guys' radar, but as far as like bad art anger, Have you guys heard of a person named JoJo Siwa?
I have heard of that person.
wasn't
but-
she like a Nickelodeon star
So
that
she
went
was a dance
awry?
mom's kid, and then she
Dude, I'm shocked that
broke
things
out on
haven't
her
gone well
own.
for her.
Well, so she just turned 21, so she's still a kid, but she's like doing her good girl goes bad phase.
She's trying to pull a Miley Cyrus.
Yeah. But she's the most, I've never seen a more narcissistic, like, deluded person.
Not even J-Lo?
Yeah, I mean, J-Lo
More-
exists, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
so she was like, I'm starting a new genre called gay pop.
Because there was never that before.
Yeah.
Never. I'm sorry. There's a lot of people literally rolling in their graves right now.
So I'm sure Pet Shop Boys are having a good laugh.
I'm sure Freddie Mercury
Yeah,
is
no
Yeah.
kidding.
stoked to hear
Never,
that.
never happened
Freddie
before.
Mercury's rolling in his grave.
But then there's
Neil
also
Tennant and Chris Lowe are having a
there's
chuckle.
active gay pop out there. There's Chaperone. There's Tegan and Sarah who've been around.
Tegan and
since-
Sarah are fucking rad.
Yeah, forever.
I love Tegan
so I'm
and
just,
Sarah.
Both of them. They're
Yep.
amazing. But
They
so
are amazing.
That was the audacity first.
Dude, the metal god is gay. I mean,
Yes.
my God. I mean, that's,
Yeah, no,
I mean,
there's the fact that she said that, the audacity, and then she releases this song, and it's just bad, it's stupid, but 2 weeks later, it comes out that she's been saying she wrote it. She's been saying that she's written it. It is a song that was recorded for another artist back in 2012. She changed nothing about it except added, not even the word fuck. She says F.
yeah.
Okay,
And
so
that's
it's
the
good,
only
clean
word,
fun.
It's the only word she changed in the whole thing, and she's been saying, I wrote it. And it wasn't even for her. She did not write a single bit
Well,
of it.
that's just like J-Lo's latest album. I
But
mean, it's
see,
like,
that's the thing. I feel like most of the time people will credit their songwriters. Like when Justin Bieber wrote with Ed Sheeran, he's like, Ed Sheeran wrote this awesome song. And
Yeah.
but she's like, I wrote it. I spent so much time in the studio deciding on pitta. And then we find the original one that was released in 2012, and it sounds exactly the same. Probably even the same vocals.
You mean that?
Only better because JoJo Siwa was not involved.
Yeah, actually,
Yeah.
the Britt Smith one, which is what her name was, went up in the charts after
Good for
JoJo's
Britt
song
Smith.
release.
Well, you know, this is the thing, though, that like we talked about this with the podcast before. Like, there's not even a thought about quality when it comes to pop music. It's just, it's
sucks.
100% the Instagram feed and the TikTok feed
There
of the person.
are-
It's not about the music at all.
What I'm finding, though,
Yeah.
is that there are some things that are coming out that are exciting, but it's like they're still not getting the traction that they deserve. Like,
Yeah.
there's
Right.
this...
We got that some kind of wacky thing to go with it, some kind
Yeah.
of thing. Like
You have to have a
know.
thing.
Yeah, you can't just be a great artist.
I mean,
you know?
Lady Gaga was the person in the 2000s to do that for the first time. I mean, Madonna did it before her.
Katy Perry kinda
What's
did
her
with that,
face?
yeah,
Cindy
yeah.
Lauper with the crazy hair. Like,
Well, I mean,
there's,
all of
it's
those
always
people
happened.
can. I
They
mean,
all-
like Madonna's probably the weakest singer on
For
that
sure.
list.
Oh, yeah.
And
right?
songwriter,
She was,
too. I mean-
she was the
And she's rad.
style icon, though. And
Oh,
that was
absolutely.
what got her started.
Yeah, it's not. It's basically 100% style over substance. You know,
Yeah,
I
which
mean,
is
like to the
terrible.
point where it's like usually there's like a 50-50 mix of that with like the best
Or
artists.
nepotism.
Yeah, well, that's true too. But
So
now it's like
so I-
99-1. You know, when
Yeah.
it comes to style of substance. You know what I mean? It's,
So I just want to know, like, how does J-Lo keep showing up in things? Who is the person that's like, oh, J-Lo's name is on it. I will use my money to purchase
that's
that thing.
somebody that
She
I've
has
never
her own
met.
money,
that?
though. That's the.
Well, no, who
what
are
I-
the people who are giving her the money to go see her concerts, to go see her?
Well,
you
she
know,
lost $20 million on her album.
shocking.
And,
I mean,
and
there's-
you guys will be shocked. She just canceled the rest of her tour.
Oh no! You mean people aren't showing up to fill arenas to see her? I mean,
And
I mean-
well, it also means she's not willing to play smaller venues.
that's
yeah,
true. Yeah,
there's that. I mean, it's another Delulu thing, and she's had so many years and so many big movies that she's got more money than she knows what to do with. Like, she fully produced that movie that she made. She fully produced the documentary, and all of the people who were saying no, like it was honestly shocking that she put it in the documentary of all of the people that were like, nope.
Well, you know
I'm
what?
not
That's her
available,
trying to
not
be like in
available.
your face because this is gonna be so amazing. You're gonna
Yeah,
be so sad
which
you
is-
didn't take this. You know what I
And
mean?
you know
That's-
what?
Again,
she could probably
Delulu.
declare bankruptcy and then like still retain enough assets
Yeah.
to never have to work
Yeah.
another day in
Yeah.
her life.
Which honestly, she should take that path.
I-
Whatever
she
it is,
should.
that
I
allows her to
wholeheartedly
not
agree.
work
She
another
just
day.
stop,
you know?
please.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
Yeah.
I really feel like that gap between, like, if you have money or if you don't, it's it's affecting the music industry way too much.
Well, because everything's gotten shrunken now. 'Cause
Yeah.
the only thing that can actually make money is this handful of people that they can sell, and then they're fighting to survive. They're basically just one thing on a balance sheet that they get written off by a giant conglomerate.
And then if you do get signed, like the thing that I see on TikTok all the time are these artists who just got signed and now their whole life is like, I have to be a content creator now. Like, I don't get to be an artist. I have to promote myself on my Instagram and on my TikTok. And
here's the thing, though. To have a label you can
to
sign you have to already have like 100,000 followers.
Exactly.
And stuff.
And you have to
maintain,
maintain, and you have to get more, and you have to get more, or else they're not going to keep.
But it's not about music. It's about your weird personality weirdness.
And so then what happens when you can subscribe to an AI music service and then just type in play me a song that sounds like these people that has this subject matter, click,
so
and then it spits out a song.
This has been happening a lot on TikTok, which is why I wanted to bring it up, because they're just like, they're releasing things, they're making fake like old record covers, and then they're basically being like, write me a song in the style of the Ronettes about this, and you almost cannot tell if it's real or not, and the only way you could is because of what the words are, and know that the Ronettes wouldn't say fuck.
Because that's because that AI model was trained by listening to Ronette songs.
And it was trained by listening to everything, because it's a freaking it's creepy. I heard a Beatles song. An AI Beatles song.
Yeah.
Horrible.
Well, you know what? Here's the thing, though, and this is what we talked about this before, is that's only going to happen if people accept that it's going to happen.
Yeah, I would rather.
Well, and people will, because it's okay. The same when I see the ads for the plugin that like finds the next chord for you.
Yeah, that's pretty.
And then in the commercial, there's the dude sitting behind his MIDI keyboard going, "Yeah, that's fire." Well, dude, you didn't think of that next chord.
Yeah.
You didn't think.
Well, you didn't do any of it.
You didn't do any of it.
Yeah.
I don't want AI
person.
to create my art for me. I want to have more time to create art.
This is the same thing that we talked about before. Like, if people don't support it, it's not going to happen. Money runs everything. So if people
people will.
People will. It's true. But
you can't stop them.
But at the same time, people will go buy a J-Lo record too. That being said, the quality.
There's no accounting for taste.
Exactly. So, but there's going to always be a percentage of people who will never accept AI doing that. So it's going to be a part of the whole. It's not going to be the entire whole.
Just everybody go buy shares of it.
It's going to be the biggest a-hole.
I'm the kind of person who would prefer everything was still analog, and freaking I would love never to be pitch corrected. I would love that auto-tune to never have existed. I'm in the wrong generation.
And if people want to hear Judith not pitch corrected or auto-tuned, listen to Ex Aegis.
That's because it is not pitch corrected.
Yeah.
It is not.
It's not.
Actually, nothing's.
Nothing is pitch corrected on our album.
Everything was played live, guys.
We recorded it digitally, but
it got mastered beautifully.
Yeah.
Yes,
but
it did.
you did not modulate any of our pitches.
All the instruments,
Shout
all
out
the
to
takes
Tom
were
Frost.
actual real
things.
Real humans.
Yeah, exactly.
Making
What's
sounds.
shocking? Like, let's go all the way back to 2012.
Right?
Right.
Yeah,
so I think that's the thing that bums me out the most is the accessibility to music should be a good thing.
Yeah.
Right? But
Right.
it's turned into such a
drag.
because there's people who have no talent, no imagination, no original thought, yet they can whip out a track that other non-original thought people love.
Yeah, you're right.
And they can release it because they've got enough money.
That's the thing. The only thing that makes that work is the people who like it.
Yeah,
You know,
and
if you have this pile of shit, and I say here's a pile of
when
shit.
Soulja Boy
someone
came
will
out,
eat the
you're like, here's Godzilla X Kong, and I'm like, here's some money. Yeah, I get that.
when Soulja Boy came out, like
Soulja
in 2000 whatever, that's how I know it was over.
I don't know what that is. What's Soulja Boy? He's like a rapper or something?
It's like it's a stupid song that came out into like 2007.
Who's the artist?
I don't know, Flo Rida or something.
Oh, that's
no, he did Apple Bottom Jeans. That one's also bad.
Whistle it.
well, he's
That
Flo
apple
Rida,
bottom
I guess.
jeans, boots with the fur.
Don't give him any more.
terrible.
Yeah.
But,
also, we don't want any kind of copyright
I don't know
strike.
the Soulja Boy. Crank that. I don't know.
See, I would say that like music is just
It's
everything at the same time, and then what's popular is always going to suck for the most part, except for there's a few things that break through. I think Taylor Swift is actually shockingly good.
I also really
considering how
like
successful she is.
Chappell Roan. I've mentioned her once before.
Yeah, Chappell. I just taught a Chappell Roan song.
Oh, dude.
Yeah.
Her story is also one of the few that's like, oh my god, this is a real artist story.
Yeah, my only knock on the the Chappell Roan song
Pink Pony Club. Sorry, I love that one.
It seemed it was kind of it was just like one progression the whole entire thing.
Okay.
It seemed kind of like a cheerleader chant.
That's the thing now, though, isn't it?
But there's other songs. She's the
Yeah,
most
totally. I mean,
creative.
it was a good one. It was a
Maybe
good
it's an
one with
homage
cheerleader
to-
chants. It was
Yeah.
great. And you know, her image, the video was cool and quirky, and
She's
like
got,
I get a vibe.
She's got
from
a
who she
really
is.
weird image too, which helps.
Love it.
But I
Yeah.
think having the one chord progression the whole time is an homage to the Pop Chocolate Sluts. Remember that band?
I do remember Pop Tropica
You
Sluts.
should- I mean, if you have students that bring more to you, it'll be cool because she is really unique. But she started out in it was like 2016 that she moved away from her Midwest hometown to try to make it in California.
Her
She
super enlightened
Yeah.
Midwest town.
she got it completely dropped by a label, and her boyfriend broke up with her. She ended up having to move back home. Then the label she was working with freaking started working with Olivia Rodrigo, boosted the shit out of her career, and she's like, oh, what about me?
Nice. And she
And-
still never turned to being a country artist.
No.
Mad respect.
Mad respect. There's another Wasp.
You know what?
Is it Blackie Lawless,
Blackie
or,
Lawless,
or
yeah.
is it Chris Holmes?
It's probably Blackie Lawless. Chris Holmes can't get upstairs anymore. So
Yeah.
I think that's what it is.
But nonetheless, it can still happen. People still can work their asses off and get noticed. It just takes a really long
yeah,
time.
the
Well,
thing
that's
is funny.
good.
It feels like people don't support artists in the way that they used to either. I feel like nowadays people are not like as hardcore about. It's transactional.
We have short attention
It's
spans.
transactional.
We
Like
all
the-
have single release attention spans, or like a minute and 30 seconds.
And
What
so-
can you give me right now that's interesting?
Yeah, exactly. And I feel like people
Yeah.
don't consider music as much of a part of their lives. Like this marks my life. Like when we were kids, it was like this song always takes me to this part of my
I
life.
heard
Yep.
something
You know what I mean?
interesting about human brains the other day. Apparently, you can't relate to music the same way as you did in that your formative years, like where your brain is forming.
Oh.
Like the way you related to music then will never happen again. Like
Got it.
it was the most impressionable time for your brain, which is why you can go back to listening to a song you liked when you were a sophomore and remember what you were wearing, what everything
Right.
was around you, your feelings. So whatever you listen to in your high
It's-
school, that's why it will remain your favorite forever.
That's why I can't stay up all night at a coffee shop listening to the Smiths.
No, because you're not 16 anymore.
Right. Yeah, totally.
I don't stay up all night anymore for that matter. That's,
Well, I
that's
also
Right.
that really made a lot of sense to me though, because I can't remember. There's been like maybe 5 songs in the last 5 years that I've heard and have been like, wow, I love that.
Makes
Yeah,
sense,
I think I experience music. I definitely experience it in like more of a technical way.
Yeah,
now.
I'm thinking about it way too as a teacher or as a musician.
Yeah.
Once music becomes your profession, then you can't ever look at music the way like it's like a listener listens to it.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? And that's something that for me, I mean, I started playing guitar when I was 10.
Yeah.
So I literally have almost no memories of not being a musician. And so whenever I listen to music, I've always, for as long as I remember, seen it through the eyes of a guitar player. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? And so like I remember like my friends coming when Nirvana got big, like, oh man, you gotta check out this band Nirvana. They're so great. I'm like, oh, I'll check them out. And like, this band fucking sucks. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
Where's the guitar playing? There's no solos on this.
Right.
But I was like 12 or 13, whatever it was.
Amazing.
when they came
And
out,
you
know
were
what I mean?
like already. Well,
Yeah,
I
it's
was
like-
that way too. I mean, if you're a musician, it starts young.
Yeah.
Very true.
But then that just showed me like how much if you're not a musician, that you don't even contemplate
You don't give
that.
a shit.
And
Well,
you know,
that's why
it's like,
shitty music is popular.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
you know, for me,
exactly.
you know,
Well said, Judith. Yeah, exactly.
You know, and in an attempt to kind of recapture a fraction of that, that's why I think for me it's important to listen to music that isn't guitar music.
Huh. Well, I don't know if I can go along with that.
What,
but okay.
what's your go-to?
Well, so again, recently Holly Knight's
Yeah.
solo album, right? It's
Well, that's
what-
still guitar
it's-
oriented, though. I
There's guitar on it. Her
Yeah.
her guitarist of choice, Gene Black, is a killer guitar player. He was also on her on the Device album 22B3. Like with Hanging on a Heart Attack on it, just fucking awesome songs. The Device stuff has more guitar on it, but the Holly Knight solo album, it's mostly like keys and she also used a Fairlight CMI
Yeah,
a
for
lot,
drums,
right?
yeah.
Which is, for those who don't know, it stands for computer musical instrument.
Yeah.
Nice.
So any of the anything that was synthy synth poppy that you listened to in the 80s, it was programmed on a Fairlight CMI. It was like the first sampler.
Yeah, I remember Peter Gabriel used that a lot.
Yeah, they cost like $25,000-$30,000. Had
Once upon a time.
like a green monochrome CRT screen
This
with
is
a
what I'm
keyboard
talking
under
about,
it.
the accessibility of music. Because
Yep.
a real artist was going to drop $30K on something like that and make amazing crap. But no, you can buy a MIDI plug-in for $12 and
be an
you can
artist.
make anything that you want on GarageBand that comes for free on any
But the
Apple
thing that's
product.
sad to me is that people don't notice the difference between what's real and
They
what
don't.
isn't. You know what I mean? There's
Unless
no
you know
distinction.
music.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I mean, and at least
And
on a
thankfully, music classes are really pushed in school, right? That's like the number one thing that they do.
well, and, you know, on a Fairlight CMI, you
They also
still
don't
had
pay
to
teachers, that's why.
right. You know, you still had to program like all the note values into the staff.
Yeah, you
quarter
had
notes,
to be
16th
a
notes,
musician to do it.
Yeah.
Yes, and well, the just to cover for us the way that we use our DAW and record things, it's not. I guess the main difference is that we're able to use drum loops to kind of structure out rhythm ideas.
It's just there's really sketches.
But-
You're
though.
still playing your guitars and your bass, and you're still putting the drum beats where you want them to
Well,
go.
and I'm also, when I'm doing that, I'm manipulating those and adding
Yeah.
hits and taking hits, and then we send it to Alex Boston, and he plays real drums.
Real drums.
Yeah.
Because
like
he's a
any
human
real
being.
musician would do.
So,
yeah.
so so any of
I
those.
support using tools to help. I just don't think the accessibility of music turned into a good thing.
Well, the tool
Right.
shouldn't do the work for you.
Yeah.
Right, it
Yeah,
shouldn't.
that's-
If the
yeah.
tool's choosing the next chord for
Yeah.
you, then
That's a problem.
you failed.
Then you're
I
not
wrote,
a musician.
I
Right.
wrote a
Yeah.
song on ChatGPT for fun, just to see what would happen.
Oh, really? I actually had ChatGPT write an article ripping on my buddy Jason.
That's hilarious.
It's pretty great. It's all
love that.
it's about him harnessing the power of child labor with his 6 kids
Oh my god.
to flood the market with denim skirts. It's it's really great. I'll have to read it
Very,
to you guys
very
sometimes.
specific. Oh my God.
Yes,
Very
and then he falls in love with labor leader Cesar Chavez. this is my Christian fundamentalist libertarian friend
See,
Jason.
this
So
is the
yeah,
kind of stuff ChatGPT should be used.
that's what it was made for, ripping on
The
your
good
friends.
news
But
is-
I'm sorry to interrupt.
Well, the
but-
good news is, unless you're paying for like the really good service, the songs are shit. Like that's good news.
So here's what has me concerned. So the first AI 80s rock band,
Yes.
Out. That's right.
they're called Cubicle Riot, and their first song, like, I'll have to be honest, like I wish I had written this.
Oh no.
The first song is called "Dipping My Nuts in the Boss's Cup of Coffee."
Okay.
Right, and
Wait,
like
was
and the
that
AI
fast
album
in the
cover,
80s?
yeah, the AI album cover, it looks like Steel Dragon from the movie Rockstar.
Yeah, yeah.
But they're all holding coffee cups.
So coffee is a huge part of what they do.
And a line in this
Cubicle
article that bugs me. Oh man, how do I paraphrase this? So Cubicle Riot, from the article, quote, "It's a lively slice of Sunset Strip glam that sounds like it could have come out in 1984. Think Rat's Stephen Piercy fronting Poison." And that's because the AI model was trained
Probably
on
used
Rat and
his
Poison.
voice.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And it comes from YouTuber Duck Fuss, who claims to be a provider of, quote, 100% serious AI tracks.
Serious? Meaning like he.
Serious radio or like
is-
serious like he's really
So,
serious?
Serious
there's a
about.
guy on YouTube who's gaining YouTube followers
making money.
and all he's doing is typing a prompt into an AI program,
So that-
like ostensibly.
Yeah,
I mean,
maybe
maybe he is a musician who's doing like a goof. I don't know.
I doubt it.
But I doubt it,
You have to
right?
pay. So there's like other AI programs that you can pay for that will do all of that for you. The only one that I had access to was the ChatGPT, where you just write me something. But this, you can absolutely have scores composed. You like compose me the score to a movie with this vibe, and at this moment in the movie, this happens, and it'll give you 45 minutes of music.
Yep.
Well, you know what I think what it comes down to is that people are now starting to not understand the difference between real art and not art. You know what I mean? And they see something
Are
like
they?
that. They see something
They
like
are.
that and they think that's real art. You know
So-
what I mean? And they don't see the difference between that and real
Well,
band.
like the thing
You
I
know
was
what
talking about
That's-
on TikTok, there was this other song that I'm not gonna sing it, but it came out and I didn't know. I couldn't tell. I was like, what is this? This is funny. I feel like I should have heard this before. It sounds old. And then, like, 3 days later, I saw a comment where it's like, it's amazing that people couldn't tell that this was AI. And I was like, I couldn't tell. And I hate that.
Yeah. Well, it's going to get, imagine a year from now or 2 years from now, how much better it's going to be. You know what I mean? But that's the thing. We're only going to get what we buy. If we put our money towards it, that's going to happen. So people out there, you and listening to this podcast, you have the power to fight it by just not giving a shit about the AI.
And you know what? I mean this in all seriousness. Like, everything we're talking about is why I've purchased $5,000 in shares of NVIDIA.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm dead serious. Yeah. I own.
I thought you were going to say that's why you purchased a cabin in the woods where you're starting to stockpile water and provisions.
That's where my libertarian buddy Jason and his 6 kids are going to be.
I have so many firearms. I can't tell you.
I want him to harness the power of child labor to set things up for me before I get there.
Then you move in.
Yes.
But I mean, I think the only responsible thing to do is to invest some money in it because it's going to put so many people out of work.
I mean, that's right. You're right, because you can't beat them, join them, you know? And we live in America. The only way to get ahead is by investing in some kind of fucking company.
I'm sorry, America.
It's like my investing approach right now, and I mean, I'm having a little bit of such out of the gate, humbly.
Yeah, good.
But I'm seriously just investing in shit that is just predicting like horrible outcomes.
They call those shorting. You're shorting people.
Yeah, like my General Dynamics stock is doing great because they're going to kill a bunch of fucking people.
No.
Right.
That's the Big Short.
Yep.
Right. Yep.
Have you seen that movie?
Oh no,
So
I haven't.
good.
It stars Batman.
You watch it 3 times when you finally understand what happened.
Yeah.
So you know, it's just like Godzilla.
Rich people pulling the money out.
It's the same
It was crazy. It's what's his name?
Okay, so can I just conclude?
Layers. There's so many layers.
Okay, so here's now look. There's a movie out right now called If, and there's a kid in it, and there's cartoon monsters and stuff, and I think that's just fine because that is originally intended for kids. That's great. Don't take shit that wasn't originally intended for kids, like RoboCop and Godzilla, because that's the brand. I'm like, I'm a fan of RoboCop and Godzilla. I'm going to go check out the next RoboCop and or Godzilla thing. And
my God, put them together.
And then
RoboCop versus Godzilla.
If they're murdering, that's fine.
Throw the Terminator and the Predator in there.
Please. And have them all kill Baby Yoda and Jar Jar and like murder all the Star Wars characters.
Because you guys were born in the era where like no one gave a shit about kids. Like zero shits given.
Don't throw me in the same bag as him, because I've completely
we have like
I'm basically the same.
We had He-Man and we had Transformers.
But no, I mean,
the world hadn't discovered that A, children mattered, and B, that you could make money off of children yet until the 90s.
Well, and it's not that.
Star Wars action figures. They learned in the 80s.
It's not specifically about
grown men bought those.
Yes, still do.
So I mean, well, He-Man, right? It was only a cartoon because it was an action figure series. That was what the 80s. That's what started in the 80s.
That's cute.
Right, but I know growing up when I was a kid, I wanted to grow the fuck up and like do adult. These days, it's all about staying a child as long as you possibly can.
Movie studios have discovered that you need a 4-quadrant movie. It means you have to make a movie that's something that hits every single quadrant. That's how you make the most possible money. And that's why they do it. It's not because they just randomly do it for
make fart sounds. I hate that.
That's true. Yeah, it's just exactly like the AI thing we're talking about. It's the same thing. It's like they're making movies that are just
so we agree. It's shit. Godzilla X Kong is shit, just like AI. I've won. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
I will not agree with you on it.
It's because of all the spoiled little kids out there that are like, "Mommy, buy it for me," and then they do.
Okay, I should probably mention this. Hearing you guys talk, I'm the only one at this table who actually has kids.
I've been
that's fine.
Listen, I have nannied children since I was a child.
Not the same thing, Jude.
Not the same thing, but I've taught children. I have been around more than 100 children that I have been in charge of. So I get kids. Maybe not on them 100% of the time, but when I was a nanny, it was 5 days a week, 4 hours a day, and every year they added a new child for me. Every year for 6 years.
This sounds like hell.
Every year for 6 years they added another baby. Like they forgot what caused it or something. Because I started out as a 10-year-old watching 2 kids, 11-year-old watching 3, 12-year-old watching 4, 13-year-old watching 5, 6 for whatever.
Now that is some horrifying compound interest
until they had
right there.
7
That's the wrong
children.
kind of investment in return.
So I'm just saying, until you've been in a house dealing with 7 children under the age of 7,
I hear you. And on that note,
That-
we should start wrapping
you know,
up the podcast. So.
That time loop with
Which is
J-
why
with
I
J-Lo
don't
songs
have
playing.
kids.
Yes.
And that's why I don't do it.
and
It's an investment
Scott,
that will not pay off. That's all I
and
can
hey, okay, and you know what? I mean this is in all seriousness.
Okay.
You and your son should come over here sometime when Misty's out of town, and the three of us will watch John Carpenter's The Thing together.
I can promise you that will never
How old
happen.
And that'll be a
My son,
blast.
He's going to be 14 this Saturday.
Oh, happy
yeah.
early birthday.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
so,
happy birthday
But
to
he
him.
has zero interest in that, I promise you, at all.
He's
How
not a
about
horror movie
Godzilla
kid.
minus
He
one?
won't watch any of that stuff. Well, I took my son to see Godzilla X Kong. So, and he's into
No,
that.
but I meant a good movie like Godzilla minus one. So you can actually turn the tides. You can be like, this movie also has Godzilla in
On
it,
that
and then take
happy
him
note,
to
we
that.
can start wrapping up today's episode of the Rock Guitar Confidential Podcast with Ryan and Scott.
And
Thank you
Judith.
and Judith, that's
Yeah.
right. Thank you for listening. Please make sure to subscribe to our social medias at Ex Aegis. Well, actually, you'll find all the links to social media at exaegisband.com. Please make sure to rate, like, and subscribe to this podcast. Ryan, what's our website again?
That's www.exaegisband.com.
Good. Make sure to go there and check out samples of our debut album, which is going to blow your mind and completely change everything. It's not made by AI. And thank you so much for listening to this podcast and subscribing. See you next time.
And
Thanks,
go out
guys.
and watch some R-rated movies.
Old
Peace.
ones.